Welcome back to Filmonomics at Slated. I'm Steph Paterno, and this week we're going to take a quick look back at the Toronto International Film Festival, which just wrapped up. Now, Toronto is not just a great opportunity to catch potential Oscar contenders for next year, but it is also a very active film market where distributors are looking to pick up films that have completed. Now, Toronto ranks right up there alongside other major festivals that run all year long, such as Sundance, Berlin, Cannes, Toronto in the fall, Independent Film Week, and ending with the American film market. Now, crucially, these major events are a barometer of how well the year is going in terms of film acquisitions. And by that measure, unfortunately, Toronto was not as strong a market as last year. However, there were a few eye-catching deals which took place this year, including Big Game, While We Were Young, Top 5, The Cobbler, The Reach, The Forger, as well as some other specialized pickups that might not have been mentioned as they were smaller deals, such as The Riot Club, Last 5 Years, Madame Bovary, Love and Mercy, Before We Go, Tales of the Grim Sleeper, What We Do in the Shadows, Pawn Sacrifice. Now, based on this weaker market, the media is making a case that maybe this is because distributors got burned last year, as you can see from this variety chart. The media claiming, of course, that distributors overpaid because of the excitement that festival goers had for certain films, when it turns out that most general audiences weren't as interested. Now, of course, the chart is showing you what a distributor paid for the film versus how much it made at the box office. And because the box office takes 50% of every single dollar from ticket sales, it means a distributor typically needs to generate twice as much money as what they paid for the film rights. So, as you can see, Oculus was the only film that actually made anybody any money, and all the other films lost the distributor's money. However, to state that that means the market is weak this year is an overstatement. In fact, we believe that this market this year is as robust, if not better, than the prior year. And it simply means that distributors are being more cautious, not a major market correction. By way of example of just how active the market's been this year, we can just look back at Berlin and Cannes. At Berlin, the Weinstein Company put down a record $7 million for the Imitation Game. Meanwhile, at Cannes, Paramount put down a record $20 million for Amy Adams' sci-fi thriller. Now, that's an example of how active the market actually is and how healthy it is, and that there are deals selling before even festivals occur, such as Sunshine Superman, which was bought by Universal before its Toronto premiere. So the real question is, when and why do distributors pounce on certain films so early in the year, or sometimes so early in a film's life cycle? Well, the simple answer is it's about the signal. Finding the right signals in the noise is everything. Now let's take an example of the Imitation Game. The Weinstein Company pounced on it based on a number of signals that they were seeing. The first signal being that it was a 2011 Blacklist script. The second being that it was a film bought by Warner Brothers, albeit in turnaround, it was then fully financed by a particular notable financier. The third signal was that it was being sold by CAA and FilmNation, two of the top sales companies. The fourth signal, that it had an Oscar-caliber actor attached, Benedict Cumberbatch. And the last signal was that there was a lot of buzz in comparison to other Oscar-caliber films, such as The King's Speech. Now let's take an example of Amy Adams' sci-fi thriller. There as well, there was some very strong signal, simply based on the executive producer team involved. Executive producers who knew how to shepherd a film along and deliver quality. In this case, it was Glenn Basner from FilmNation and Lava Bear's David Lindy and Tori Metzger. Another example is Lila Yacoub, who at Toronto this year has 3 films. And she was also the producer of Roman Polanski's Odd Man Out, a documentary I invested in no small part because of that signal. But above all of these films were made for a price. That is to say, they had the right level budget that could support the type of cast they had, the type of story they had, the type of commercial potential for profitability. A distributor will always be looking for strength of the cast. Can the crew and the executive producers and producers involved really deliver the film? Does it have the right budget? It would be great if George Clooney was involved as well, but you may not get George Clooney. But last but not least, Does it have an exciting story as well? All of those elements matter. If you can put yourself in the shoes of the distributor, you're already ahead of the game. So make sure you start sending those signals out as early as possible. Don't wait until your film is in the can or at the festival. Start sending out those signals the minute you have a story, the minute you have your first attachment. Put the signal out then, and you will come out ahead. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to click over here to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you for the next segment.